Okay, welcome back to the class. Now let's look at this function. It's called the subtotal function. The subtotal function is a maths and statistical function. And what do we use this for? We use it to perform various calculations such as the sum on value, average or count, and then of course on a specific range of values. Now, it is particularly useful because it ignores hidden rows and other subtotals, so making it ideal for filtered data. And we're going to demonstrate that something very interesting that we're going to see out of this. Now, the syntax is just simply equal sign subtotal. Then you have your function number, you have the range, and you are good to go. And if you have multiple ranges, you capture all the multiple range of values that you have. Then what are the key features here? Number one, it performs multiple calculations. We've seen that. Ignores other subtotals in the nested calculation. It works well with filtered data. And then it's, of course, more flexible than the sum, average, and count function as when you use it. Then it supports dynamic calculation when data is filtered. The subtotal function is an essential function for analyzing filtered data in Excel. So let's see how this is applicable to our task. So we are going to see this is a set of data, and then we want to use the sum function to sum this value, and then we also want to use the subtotal to sum, and we're going to see the difference. So equals sum. So we sum this range, Control Shift down arrow, press enter. That is the total by sum, by using the sum function. So that's our range from D7 down to D219. Now let's use the subtotal. So this equals subtotal, and then we pick our function. Of course, we're using sum. And then what's the reference? We are picking this reference. So close the bracket, hit enter, and we get the same answer. So somebody want to ask, so what's the difference between these two? I mean, how do you, so I think somebody say, I prefer to use this. So let me show you the difference. So if I come to this filter button, and I filter this by Apple, and I click OK, you see that the sum function remains as the total. In other words, it has no regard for filtering. But the subtotal automatically gave us the total based on the filtered data. So this is good for trying to get the total of values when you filter them. So you can see that I get the value. So if I filter Apple from United States and I click OK, you're going to see that it shows me the value. So this is quite good for working on large set of data, trying to know by your criteria, trying to know what is the total by your search criteria. So this works so well with the filter option. So when you return, it shows the same, but now no matter how far you go in filtering your data, the sum function remains, gives you the same value, the same total. But while this will show based on the filtered data. So you can see the advantage of the subtotal over the sum. And the beautiful thing about this is that this can also do all sorts of functions. So we can also even use the subtotal to count our text. So we count and pick our reference, okay? So that tells us the number of transactions here. So let me clear the filter and return it back to it. So we have 207. I think there's still an element of filter here, if I'm correct. Or do we have, okay. So let me clear, let me see. Okay, and this is okay. This is okay. All right. So it shows us to, if you use, so if you use equals subtotal and you find the, let me see what I want to find now, average, and from the reference. Okay, so that's the average. Okay, so you can see that there's an omission here because I was wondering why this wasn't correct. Okay, so that's 213 and that's the average. So this is the number of transaction. This is the average of sales. So, so now look at this. So let's filter. Let's filter by products and show only banana. So what do we have? Number of transactions 71. What is the average sales? This is it. And what is the total sales? So you can see that with the subtotal, even filtering the data, we are able to see our values easily. All right. So fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. So let's draw the curtain here. This is where I'm going to stop, and I will come back some other time in another video, and we'll look at another function. We'll look at another function in Excel. Bye for now.